Alright guys, welcome back. There will be the next event for this month, Fusion Synchro Festival, shortly. In this video I will show you the best decks that you can take to this event if you have all the resources, so they are going to be very ultra rare heavy, obviously. I also have made a video where I show you the best budget decks. We will also talk about the loaner decks that are available for this event, so if you are more on a budget and don't want to spend a lot of resources in this part of the festival, then just go ahead and watch that video. It is in the top right corner. Then you just want to play the event if you are full on resources until this 5,500 point, and then probably stop, since the rest of the prices are not really worth it. But this obviously for you to decide. You can also wait a few days in order to unlock additional missions, then you can get a bit more gems, but that's not a big deal. So now let us hop on over and I will show you three decks, or I guess the three decks that I think will be the best for this event. So the first deck I want to talk about is Exodia, and it has been a trend for a while now that basically the events feature decks from the new selection pack. So decks from the new selection pack like Exodia are also good in the event. That has been true for a while now. This was already good in Legend Anthology, the first event we had this month, and we can also play it here once again, since not a lot is lost. We can't play cards like there can be only one. Unfortunately, there's only one super polymerization available. We would definitely want to play three if we can, but we have basically substituted for this with other board breakers here. I will explain this in a minute. This deck basically works the same as before. It's even better than in the Legend Anthology event, because we have it at a more full power level right here. We are playing the Exodia parts. Obviously we need this for our Millennium Arc, triple Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Then we are playing triple Fuvalos. This is very important in order to make our opponent skip his turn so that we can go for our turn, because if the field gets too big we might have a hard time breaking it, honestly. So if you have Fuvalos, go ahead and put it in here. We are playing the entire lineup here. You can also bump this up one more if you wanted to, a bit more consistency I guess, but this deck is kind of consistent already, so you don't really need it. But you could also go for this, go minus the breakers here, and then put in even more Millennium Engine if you want that. And then we have the Shield of Millennium Dynasty ×3, 2 Golem that guards the Millennium, 3 Sengajin. You could also cut down on this if you don't have this ultra rare card here. This is the best starter out of all of these, but if you don't have it, then you don't have it. We have 3 Heart of the Blue Eyes. This is also very nice if you play other Exodia decks, which you probably will. Then you can just have this in the graveyard and out the opponent's Exodia, which is super strong. We are playing 2 Raigeki and 1 Feather Duster, as well as 1 Heavy Storm to break the board. If, for example, you don't have the Raigekis, you can also go for Dark Hoods. They basically work the same. Then we have a triple Tactics Talents. Obviously, as I already said, you can also mix and match here. So if you want more talents, for example, to break the board, you can also go for that. You could also go on more hand traps like Nibiru if you want to go for that strategy. So you can go for a board breaker approach, you can go for a hand trap approach. This is basically up to you. Triple Millennium Arc, obviously, triple Weiju Temple, then our 1 Super Poly, which is still great. We have a lot of cool targets in here. Then we have the Infinite Impermanence ×3, just super strong. We want this here. 2 Exords, I think this is better than 1, and oops, this one has to go out because we are not playing the rabbit, obviously. So for this missing card we could, for example, bump this up to another talents, but could also, I guess in this case would honestly make a bit more sense. We would then put a Nibiru in here, since we have the Fuvalos, and we would then have the ability to draw into our Nibiru. We are playing 3 times the Unstoppable Exodia. Can also play it at 2 if you don't have it 3 times. And then we have some targets here for Super Poly, mainly Mud Dragon, the Garura, the Azamina Soul Acid-Chichton, then the Predapel and Douglas Apelia, a Chaos Star Source Dragon. And then we also have Snake Eyes Doom Dragon. If you have it, you can play it, because you can also, in theory, do this. If your opponent somehow gets to a Snake Eyes Doom Dragon, then you can also fuse this away with one of your Millennium guys, send it away basically. This is not that bad, but also not needed. So if you don't have the Doom Dragon, don't get it. The Exo deck is not that important. The most important thing is the Unstoppable Exodia, because if we summon the Exodia with the Millennium Arc, we will obviously clear the entire field, and therefore we don't really need all of this stuff in our Exo deck. Most of this is super poly targets, but I think in this event Exodia will still be very strong, since it is basically at full power. The plays we want to do, we are able to do. So if you have Exodia, you can definitely pick this deck and be very successful with. One of the obvious candidates when it comes to a Fusion Festival is available here. We have Branded with now a triple branded opening. The Alubar is at 1 now, so at least in this event, so that's okay. You can, for example, bump up on more Keeper of the Dragon magic if you wanted to, just to be a bit more consistent with going into your branded fusion. We unfortunately cannot play That Grass Looks Greener, so we are playing one Despian Tragedy, triple Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, one Keeper of Dragon magic, triple Fallen of Albas, the one Aluba. You can also play more Mercuria if you wanted to, but we are playing this Mercuria here. Then Spring and Skid, we are playing one of these. We can play two Blazing Cartesias and one Guiding Quem. I think it makes sense also here to play the Mulch Army Fuvalos. Then we have a little Bestial package here. You could also put in another Druid Swarm if you wanted to, but needs to be seen how good the Bestials are in this meta. I think that could be quite nice, since there's another deck that I will show you in a second that is also very light and dark heavy. We have one Albion. If you want more Albion, you can go for this. Albion is an insane card. Then one the Bestial Lubelion, just to get our Bestial engine ready basically, and also get our Blended Lost on the field. One Foolish Burial. There's a Gold Sack in here. You could bump this up to one more Gold Sack if you have another one. I only have one. I think you don't need to, but you can definitely play two. Then you have better access to your Despian Tragedy. Obviously, Fusion Deployment at 3. This is insane. Going into our Albas or into the Cartesia to be able to dodge an Imperm with the Aluba. Then we have one Branded in White. Then we have our Branded Fusion. One Branded Lost. We are playing the Super Poly for sure. This is really good. Then we have a Called By, a Crossout, triple Branded Opening. Could also go for two Called By if you wanted to. Then two Branded in High Spirits. One Branded in Red. One Branded Sword. Then one Branded Banishment, as well as Fusion Duplication and the Retribution that we can send to the graveyard in order to grab our Branded Fusion. For our extra deck, we have our targets for the Super Poly, Garura, and in this case, Azamina Sol Ashi Chiton. Then we have Predator and Darkest Apelia, the Borrowed Furious Dragon, one Titanic Lad, one Albion here, which you can definitely put in Swamp Dragon guy here for another Super Poly target. Then one Despian Quertus, two Mirror Jade, we have one Lubelion, one Alba Lenatus, one Granguignol, one Rindbrom, and then one Guardian Chimera that you can make with Branded in Red. It's very nice, since this deck has not really been hit. The Branded Fusion is at 1 anyways. The Super Poly is a bit sad, I guess. Other than that, it's actually only the Aluba and the Albion, which the Albion is not that important, but the Aluba, obviously, having this at 3 would be better. But other than that, we basically have full power Branded in here, and I think this is one of the best decks that you can play in this event. But maybe the next deck I show you might even be a bit better. Okay, and for the last deck of this recommendation of mine, we have White Forest Azamina for the Fusion and Synchro Festival here. And obviously, once again, no big surprise. As I already said, they are basically making the decks that you can get from the new selection packs quite powerful. We saw this with Exodia, and now we are seeing this with White Forest Azamina, since this is a dedicated Synchro and Fusion deck. No surprise here. We are playing one Effect Valor, we are playing two Astella of the White Forest, triple LZ of the White Forest, and then one LZ Azamina of the White Forest to bridge from our White Forest engine into our Azamina engine. Triple Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, as well as a good starter Sylvie of the White Forest and our one extender Rushia of the White Forest. I've explained the Mulch Army Fuvalos logic before, and we are playing three Bestials here. Once again, you can also, this is non-engine part, obviously you can do whatever you want to. This could also be a Talents, this could also be, I don't know, a Raigeki Boardbreaker if you wanted to. You just have to feel the meta out, look on how this works, on how this plays, and which non-engine is best. Depending on what you are facing a lot in the event, obviously. Triple Diabellstar in combination with the Deception is our good starter into Ilia Sylvia, and also very great to discard Mulch Army Fuvalos. This is just insane. If we go first, have the Fuvalos in hand and don't want it there, obviously we can discard it for the Diastar or the Deception. We are playing one Queen Azamina. If you play the bigger package of Azamina monsters, which we are doing here, I think it makes sense to play the Queen, but you don't have to. Two Nibiru's, then we are playing one Tales of the White Forest, the Hollowed Azamina together with Deception to go into the Mu Rishia Lago, as well as Ilia Sylvia. Then we have to Called By, one Crossout, the one Wanted, the Sinful Spoils of the White Forest to honor our opponent's turn if we want to make a Guardian Chimera, but you can also use this on your turn to make Saint Azamina, have your Moa Regina life, as well as your Ilia Sylvia, which this is quite nice. Ilia Sylvia can negate something, which will trigger the Moa Regina, and Moa Regina can then destroy two cards on the field. You don't need to run this bigger package if you, for example, don't have the Moa Regina. I think if you don't have the Moa Regina, you don't need the Saint Azamina here, and then you can put in other Synchro and Fusion monsters here. As you have seen, I have basically left this open, which means you can fit in whatever you want to fit in here, but these are the most important cards. We have triple Imperm and then a very insane card, Azamina Arthas, which can destroy cards, or I think it is actually cards on the field up to the number of fusion and synchro monsters in your field and graveyard that are fiend, illusion, or spellcaster monsters. So we have one Ilia Sylvia, one Mu Rishielago, one Sol Eshichiton, one Moa Regina, one Guardian Chimera, one Saint Alamina, then Silvera the Wolf Tamer. Then we have one Rishiela, one Diabel, one Baron de Fleur, which is live here, which is just crazy, and one Chaos Angel. Already the fact that we can make Baron de Fleur is crazy here, since Apollousa, for example, is banished in this event. And you can see that this deck, and there you can see that they really want you to play the decks from the selection pack. They want you to invest in the selection pack because these decks are also good in the event, because you can see right here, this is basically at full power. Nothing is really hit here. Yeah, Bissi Magnumwood at 1, it's also at 1 normally wanted also. So nothing is hit besides the Guardian Chimera, which we would not want to play more than one anyway. So I think this might be the strongest deck that you can play in this event, and therefore the Bestials might actually be nice, since a lot of these cards are actually light and dark. The perfect fit for this event, since we can combine the fusion as well as the synchro part here in this deck. But now let me know in the comments what you are going to plan in this event. Are you more hyped for this event, or were you more hyped for Legend Anthology? Let me know in the comments. Hopefully you liked this video and it helped you. If it did, please consider subscribing, hitting a thumbs up and the notification bell. This would help me out a lot. Thanks in advance. And guys, we will see each other in the next one.